To demonstrate the array, we have a class named sample array with a main method. Here, let's try to declare, instantiate, initialize, and traverse the Java array. Now, first, what is an array? It is a collection of similar items with a contiguous memory location. First, we need to declare the array. So to declare the array, we need to specify the type of elements that we are going to store for this array, followed by pair of square brackets, the name of the array like num. Or it can be declared in this way, like the data type, the name of the array, with a pair of square brackets, or it can be in the form of the data type, space, pair of square brackets, space, and the array name. So this array named num will hold values of integers since we are specifying the type of integer. It's either of the three on declaring the array. Now after declaring, we need to instantiate. So we need to use the keyword new for instantiating the array object. That is requesting the memory assign an address for our array named num. For the instantiation, it can be this num is equal to then the size. I mean before the size, we need to specify the type. Num is equal to new, the data type, then the pair of square brackets here, specifying the size. For example, we have size of 5. So this num here will hold values of 5 elements of integers or 5 integer items. The disadvantage of array is size, which is fixed. Now, after instantiating our array, we can initialize values for our array elements. So in initializing the values for our array elements, it can be static or dynamic. Dynamic meaning the user will input the array elements. Now let's try to initialize the array elements. So to initialize, we need to use the array named num and a pair of square brackets. Inside the square brackets is the index specifying the position for that specific element. And in array, the indexing will start at index 0 and ends with index size minus 1. That is, since we have the size of 5, it will start at index 0 and ends with index 4. Now, to initialize the first element, which is at index 0, we can have the num sub 0 using the assignment operator equals and the value, say for example 10. Now, in this case, we have 10 value for our first element in our array named num. Now at index 1, num sub 1 is equal to 3, for example. Num sub 2 is equal to 20. Sub 3 is equal to um, 50, for example, and sub 4 equal to 10. Okay, so it doesn't matter that if the number is repeated here, that's okay. But it depends on the purpose of your program. So as long as the elements that we are going to store here for our array suffice the data type that it holds. Now, since we have already initialized the array, we can now traverse the array elements. So to traverse the array elements, we use loop for that. Okay. So for example, we use the um, index variable I, which starts at 0. So this will iterate the array elements starting from index 0. And it will not stop until it will reach the size or the last element of the array. And we are going to use the property of the array called length. So the name of the array is num and the property length. Then increment the pointer to the next element using I++. Now, for example, any operations that needs the traversal operation is the printing. For example, we're going to print the elements in our array using the statement system the print line. Okay, this will print the array elements in a new line. So to print the array elements, so we need to use the subscripting operator, still this one, to access the array elements. That is num, and for the integer which is placed inside the square brackets for accessing the array elements will depend on this index variable I. Now let's try to save and run this program. So we have the items 10, 3, 20, 50, and 10. So we have successfully verified that these items are initialized and printed for program.